you have a pick in this draft maybe that you scouted? Actually, we did want to ask you, like, I mean, everybody knew this guy was obviously who he was, but so what are you trying to assess, when you have, obviously a player of that caliber? What are the things you're trying to nitpick at a guy like that?
It's hard because, some people, if you want to be super negative, you say, okay, he didn't work out, all right, but the guy caught 104 balls, he ran for how many every yards and touchdowns, and team went into the semifinals in a national playoff, so the guy showed what he can do, and I'm all right with it, because it also takes about 5 guys to tackle him, so he's taking a beating every time he touches the ball. Other than that, I mean, sure, they can always get better at everything, but I mean, his ball skills are rare. The guy makes big plays in big games all the time. Everybody knows he's getting the ball and he still makes plays. He's highly intelligent. I mean, to use him the way that they used him in all the spots that they line him up, you can see the former quarterback in him. When he came into our room at the combine, he sounded like a coach when he talked. There's not a lot you can't do. He's what I would call a unicorn Y. I compare him a lot to Heath Miller, which people that know me know that's very high praise, because that's a guy I really liked when he came out of Virginia. Played where I lived for a long time. I think they're very similar. Tyler's probably a bit stronger and better after the catch, but very similar guys. And Heath was a great player for Pittsburgh forever. I'm really happy to get the guy here.
Shane was just in here. We were talking about his toughness, man. Just like he was like, you can just dump the ball off to him and he can take it from there. I mean, just what were you guys' impressions about that part of his game?
Oh, absolutely. You can see that in all phases of the game, and I mean, it's no joke that he started wearing 44 because of John Riggins. His dad was a big John Riggins fan. He showed him film when he was about 8 years old. He said, "Hey, this is who I want you to run the ball like." You see that when he has the ball in his hands. You see that when he's blocking. You guys know I'm big with my nicknames. My nickname for him would be Truck, because he's big, strong, reliable, and he's known to truck some defenders. You do a lot of things with him. I think Truck's a good name. I was actually surprised to learn that he doesn't drive a truck, but that may change in the future with his contract.
Yeah.
When a guy has 17 catches in a game, and it's like this outlandish performance that's like such an outlier, like Tyler had, how do you contextualize that in the scouting process?
So I think, Todd Vesvari, who's been here a really long time and might be the only guy on the staff that's had more years than me in terms of in the league, he made a great statement talking about scouting Edgerrin James, who obviously is one of the greatest to ever do it. He had almost 300 yards against UCLA. When guys make exceptional performances like that, like Tyler did against USC, they're showing you what they are. They're showing you, hey, I'm great, even though they know I'm getting the ball. I'm great when the game's on the line. I'm great in many different, running the ball, goal line, catching the ball, playing quarterback. You could watch that game and be done. I kind of joke, when I scouted Calvin Johnson when he came out, I scouted him in 3 plays. Caught a stand-up screen and outran the Virginia Tech defense for 80 yards. He did a one-handed catch in the end zone on a fade where he made the corner look like a child. And he caught a dig for a first down, got the crap knocked out of him, got up, handed the ball to the ref, went back to the huddle. I said, all right, I'm done. What else do I need to see? With Tyler, it's kind of the same thing. Again, he's a Y who is exceptional in the passing game. So he can play Y, he can play F. He's going to give you toughness as a blocker. We could do we have some very creative minds on the offensive staff, from Shane on down. And I think we can do some very creative things with him as well, particularly in the red zone.
Can you explain a little bit more about the blocking aspect? And I like to talk about mentality, but also the technique that he brings to it.
This is a big man now. That's one thing. We have a hard time anymore finding guys that size, because it's, you're looking at a bunch of 230-pound guys, because they're basically an extra receiver. This guy happens to be an extra receiver who can also knock the crap out of people both on the line of scrimmage and in space. He's strong, again, he's smart, so he knows how to play. And I think Chris Ballard made a great point in his press conference too. This guy's played a lot of football, but he has competed his ass off a lot, because they've had some players ahead of him. In this era where everybody is transferring when, hey, I don't get my shot right away, I'm gonna leave, this guy stayed there, okay? And when he was the 3rd tight end, I still liked him. And if you know me, I'm not real fond of writing backups. Like we read a lot of players as is. So if a guy's a backup, he better really be showing you something. I like this guy when he was a third tight end, and then once he got the chance to be the guy, again, he showed you the greatness that is in him.
I think from a blocking perspective, I thought it was kind of neat. You watch the Ohio State game. Josh's brother, he's a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
Smaller guy, right? The safety.
Yep.
To see a guy at that size, the ability to leverage your pads, show flexibility, and then drive through a guy and hit him on the rise.
Yeah.
Hit him on the rise. That's pretty unique now.
Right.
At that size, to be able to have that leverage to hit a DB,
That's a feel for the game too.
Yeah, I mean.
That's, again, I've been on this guy for a long time. Obviously, I live 2.5 hours from the school. I spent a portion of my college career there. Know a bunch of people that are Penn State fans and get my ear beat about him all the time. But this guy's he's continued to produce every year. They give him more opportunities, he produces. So look forward to that. And then, I knew all about him intangibly and makeup wise, but to get him in front of the staff for the first time at the combine and hear this guy talk football, you walk out of there and applaud, like holy cow, like this guy's gonna get it right away. And again, if you're lining up tight end up in so many spots, they put it up yesterday. The guy even played center on one snap, so he's got a ton of positives upstairs as far as the knowledge and the ability to learn and retain.
They used him a good amount in the run game, and he was quite effective. Do you think there's roles like that for him at the next level too?
Oh, absolutely. You watch that guy run on the goal line. I don't want to tackle him. And he's strong. He's quick. He's got again the intelligence. He's got vision, and this guy's getting in the end zone. Like you're not going to stop him. He's as determined as any running back that you see running the ball, and I think that it just provides us some really interesting options down there, particularly with some of the other people that we have in the backfield.
Yeah, when we were kind of making, we have our discussions on these players. Obviously, when you have a strong opinion on a guy, you have to bring some evidence to the case, right?
Yeah.
This guy was like, Chris, this guy scored 25 touchdowns in his career, rushing and receiving combined. How do you win games? You score more than the other team. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
And Chad did a great job. Robert did a great job of, evaluating this guy. And he was an easy guy for all of us to love, which is a cool part about our process, that everybody gets to get a good feel about these players and have spirited discussions. And it was easy to see he was a really strong Colt.
When did he get on your radar, Chad?
Oh, like 2 summers ago. Because, they were talking about, okay, he could potentially come out early just because there's a ton of talent at Penn State. And obviously you saw that this year. They're running the playoffs. But, again, if I like a guy that's the third tight end, and he had Theo Johnson playing ahead of him, and I think Theo was the 3rd-round pick. Maybe he's playing a lot for the Giants. Brendan Strange was a really good player I like playing for Jacksonville. He's playing behind those guys, but he's still getting in the game all the time. So that tells you something too. Like you're not seeing a lot of teams, particularly in college, playing with 3 tight ends on the field. So to me, every exposure I had to this guy, I liked him more and more and more. Whether it was the first time I evaluated him a couple summers ago, progressing into the last 2 seasons, get him at the combine, get a chance to spend time with him at the school. But every exposure, I've liked him more and more. And I told him when we were at Pro Day, I said, I'll see you in Indy in about a month. And then we shook hands and parted ways. And then yesterday when I saw him coming out of Tom Manning's office, I looked at him and I said, told you. We both just laughed. So, some things are meant to be.
Jamie, Tim Smith, obviously you're older, a little older now at defensive tackle, but just why this guy versus other options? What's unique about him?
Yeah, so I think what's unique about him is his ability to play blocks. I think it's something that Lou talked about when he got here. Explaining how this defense is going to operate and function up front.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy is a guy that Lou likes versatility. We're going to play, be a little more wall up front. And Tim's very heavy-handed. He's got knockback. And I think if anybody has ever studied, Nick Saban defense, you're going to understand that this guy, you're going to know how to play with your hands coming out of that program. And so to me, the ability to play square at the line of scrimmage. He's a really good run defender. And he was a kid that I think as we studied him, it just said like, hey man, this is a guy that fits for us. He can do a specialized thing, and that's going to be like his ability to contribute to the defensive line rotation.
Were you guys two gap in this scheme, or?
Well, look, man, we're going to be multiple.
Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't phrase it one thing or another.
Okay.
I know I'm not the defense coordinator.
No, but I'm just when you're just looking at players, I'm wondering,
Yeah,
like, is that
yeah.
something you think about?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ability to play blocks is going to be important.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
How different was it scouting for Lou this summer as opposed to coordinators from the past?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you're always looking for like baseline things, like Chad talked about with this, like with Tyler. You know, you're always looking for. He's a big guy. He's really athletic. You know, he's productive. He's physically strong. So you're always looking for those ingredients. I think that's but you know, schematically, I mean, I think there is some preferences, but I don't think it's like wholesale changes. You know, a good football player or an excellent football player is what they are. But you know, I do think there are some guys that do certain things on tape that look like the way you want them to look in that scheme, and it marries up really well. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tim was saying that he believes it was better for him to go back to school for the 5th year. Did you, I guess, see a step forward in him?
Yeah, I think you know, obviously he told you guys that. I think you know, I think for him it was a chance for him to kind of round out some things in his game, you know, and I think not only just as a player, but I think as a person. I think anytime, I think anybody in life and development, I think a year you gain more wisdom and more perspective. I think my opinion is, I think when you come out of college, your goal should be to have as many tools in your tool belt and have as much perspective and as much polish in your suitcase when you go to that club, because it's going to travel with you. And I think, you know, I think a guy like that who's been in a demanding program, that's a lot of those things and habits that you develop are going to carry with you to the next level. That makes sense.